What is the Farm and Sustainability Tour? I'm bringing on a special guest today that's going to tell us all about it. Last spring, when I was out at Paul Wheaton's place doing some filming, I met a really nice family, the Ponder family. During the summer of 2017, they came to visit us. They stayed here a couple days, filming, learning all about what we're doing here on the Grass-Fed Homestead. Got some hungry piggies here. You ready to eat, piggies? Hey, watch out! That didn't go exactly as planned. Usually I get more in their pail without getting it all over them. So we had a great time with the Ponder family. We really enjoyed having them here. They have 3 young boys who got along really well with little buddy. They had a blast playing with each other. And now I'm excited to tell you that the Ponders have just launched a Kickstarter in partnership with a company called PermaEthos, which is permaculture education related company. They're doing a Kickstarter to help fund a nationwide farm tour.
We are the Ponders.
We know that if you really want to learn something, you need to see it in action.
We want to bring you the Sustainability Education Tour, a series of farm tours documenting their knowledge and skill sets. These tours will showcase the amazing things being done and present them as micro-classes so you can put these skills into practice or support those in your community who are.
We are at Alpacas of Troy, and today we got to see the process from raising the alpacas to the finished product of yarn.
By supporting the tour, you can take the courses, see inspiring farms in action, and learn with our family. Because the more educated we are on sustainable practices, the better consumers we can be.
We do natural dyeing here as well, and we just had our natural dyeing class.
Follow the fun.
He sounds like a person going,
You're my friend now?
You're gonna stink. I think he owns you now.
Do you guys want to grab some hay?
Be a part of the journey.
See that? She's a hair sheep. Every day I move the sheep. In the end, you get a better end result because they're leaving a lot of nutrients behind, and now they're creating an environment where the good stuff can come really take off.
Learn with us.
Take the round bale. Well, they tramp that in so it fertilizes. Their own manure fertilizes, and they eat. It has seeds in there, so that next year will be like the best grass you have. Compost right on the spot.
There are so many amazing farms. Follow our family on this adventure of learning. Put these skills into practice in your life and support those in your community who already are.
Yes, those pigs at the end that you saw with the mama flipping the babies, those are our pigs. In the shot where Cliff is holding the little baby piglet, that was Clara. Earlier today I sat down with Cliff over Skype and I recorded our conversation. We talked a lot more about the Farm and Sustainability Tour and the Kickstarter. They're going to bring Cliff on now to tell you more about it. Cliff Ponder, welcome to the Grass-Fed Homestead.
Hey Dan, thanks for having me.
Hey, so we have you on here today to talk about the upcoming Farm and Sustainability Tour and the Kickstarter associated with that. But before we get into that, I was hoping that you could give your background so everyone could kind of get to know who you are and a little bit about your family and how you got to this point from dude in Texas to wanting to go to a bunch of farms with his family.
Yeah, it's kind of a long story. I'll try and make it as concise as possible. Let me know if I'm rambling. So yeah, we're from Texas, and my wife and I, a handful of years ago, we're kind of the typical American couple. We're newly married, both had jobs. Status was measured in size of your car loan and how many credit cards you had in your wallet. We realized we wanted to drastically change the way we lived. And we wanted to get more into agriculture. We wanted to get more into providing our own food, but we weren't in a position to be able to do that. We sold our house. In the process of selling it, we were kind of going, hey, I should say, I stopped working. 2018. So I stopped working at the end of August of 2016. And then, so with not having to go to work, that was when I was doing the work on the house. And then, we left Texas in the tail end of February of 2017. At that point, our house was on the market, hadn't sold yet. So in those months, though, we were planning what do we want to do? We actually we don't have to just race to New Hampshire. It's not like I'm going to a job and I had a deadline to get there. So again, it's a unique feeling to all of a sudden go, well, we have time. We can step back and breathe and just really figure out what is it we want to be doing. And do we need to race into whatever that is? We talked about, hey, let's travel the world. Let's do all these ideas of the things that you always wanted to do kind of start to go, hey, wait, some of this is possible now. What do we want to do? So we ended up heading out to Montana to Paul Wheaton to kind of just see what was going on there. I had heard of him from Jack Spirko's podcast, so I didn't know a whole lot about him, but there was some familiarity from that connection. And so we just kind of contacted him and said, hey, we'd like to come out and just be part of what's going on, help out if we can. When we got there, he said, well, hey, since you're going to be here helping out, why don't you take the PVC that's coming up in exchange? So I thought, all right, that's a cool deal. So we did that. And in the course of the PDC, we met some awesome people there. It was a 2-week-long PDC. And everybody was kind of interested in the fact that we were doing this with our 3 kids. At the time, they were 9, 7, and 4. They're now 10, 8, and 5. And so people thought it was really neat. Everybody wanted to know, okay, what's the story here? How did you guys get to this position, living in a tent, camping out? And a lot of the people who at the PDC who already had farms and land were starting to say, well, hey, you guys should travel around. You should check out our things. You should see different farms. And that was actually how I met you. You came out there to do some video, and you and I started chatting. So that's also where I met Josiah Wallingford of PermaEthos. And it was towards the end of our time there at Paul's. I guess Josiah had already had the idea for this farm tour. He wants to do the entire country, all 50 states, videoing farms everywhere. And he said to us, hey, you guys should, y'all should do this tour. It'd be kind of a cool combination of this homeschooling family traveling around, seeing farms. And so we thought that was a cool idea. So that kind of started that partnership between Josiah and PermaEthos and ourselves.
PermaEthos, correct me if I'm wrong, it's a permaculture education business in that they have online courses, and now they're trying to do the farm and sustainability tour.
Right.
Before we get into stuff more about the Kickstarter and all that, can you tell us what is the Sustainability and Farm Tour?
What is the Sustainability and Farm Tour? So it's multiple factors. At its core, it's our family of 5 traveling to a new farm each week to document what's going on at that farm, to show off the cool things that sustainable farms are doing, to document a family's journey doing that, and then to document trying to focus on the educational part of that, which is why each farm is going to be doing what PermEthos calls quick wins, which is a kind of a small course, not a big intensive thing like a PDC style, but more kind of one specific subject or skill that farm has that they're actively involved in, and them teaching that class. So trying to really focus on spreading the educational side of it, and then also just awareness of sustainability and the things that different farms are doing to be in that arena of trying to be sustainable and improve land and improve the nutrition in the soil, which you get better plant growth, in which then you have better food for your animals that eat on that, and it's just that whole cycle of improvement.
You mentioned that there's a Kickstarter in regards to this. Can you talk about what your goals for the Kickstarter are, and also talk about why someone should be interested in backing your Kickstarter?
Sure. Yes, the Kickstarter is going to help fund it, and it's covering the cost of the camera gear and sound equipment, then fuel. Obviously, if you're going to drive around, you've got fuel costs, the food budget being on the road. Obviously, we don't have any option but to just be buying food. We can't be growing food traveling around. So the food budget of covering that, and in each of these things, we're trying to keep the cost as low as possible. And then a travel trailer. We did our traveling just in our pickup truck, which is it's a 2-door truck with 5 people. It gets pretty cramped, and then all of our gear in the back. And while we had tons of fun doing that, the idea of adding in sort of the work factor, like, okay, we're going to go somewhere, we need to get done, specific stuff, filming, and all the gear that goes along with that, and making sure that everything that needs to get recorded is being recorded. It kind of seemed like, okay, doing that in a tent is just not really feasible. And the goal is to spend like a year doing this. This first Kickstarter is just a kind of a 3-month, what we're calling a phase 1. And part of that is to keep the cost of the Kickstarter down as much as possible. And then there'll be future funding projects if people are enjoying this phase 1 and think it's good and want to continue supporting it. And the good thing is the future projects are going to be drastically lower in terms of what's needed, because the big upfront expenses of trailer and all the camera and sound gear is no longer part of it. So it's going to be a relatively small amount that's needed to sort of keep it going. And if the support's there, awesome. And if it's not, then that's not what people are interested in. Then it's a good way to communicate that back to us. We think people are going to be interested in it, though, and the reason that people should check it out is, a big part for us is spreading the awareness of sustainability, spreading the awareness of homeschooling, because that's a big part of our life. And so, our focus going into it with who we hope our YouTube channel will become is a lot of those things, like just how we do our life, homeschooling, especially homeschooling on the road like that, which sometimes when I think about it, I'm like, well, that's not very interesting. My life is not interesting. But it seems like whenever we talk to somebody, especially if they're not homeschoolers, especially if they're sort of like in the conventional lifestyle, they find what we're doing fascinating. And so it's like, okay, so maybe there is some interest out there, and people are interested in homeschooling. They're interested in doing things a little differently, but they just don't quite know if they can do it or how to do it.
So Kickstarter is basically a platform to pre-sell something in order to get funding to produce whatever it is you're selling. So what is the actual product that you guys are selling out of this?
So the product, PermaEthos, will be the courses themselves that are filmed at each location. Those will be going into PermaEthos's library of educational materials. Then they're going to make a documentary of each state that we visit. So, again, ultimately, if this goes into the full, year plus hitting the whole country, they'll have a documentary sort of from each state with all the farms that we go to in that state. And that'll be focused more on the farms themselves, showcasing the farms and the farmers and their stories and, how they're doing things. Then they also want to make then a documentary about us, which would be sort of a documentary of a family's journey doing all this.
So people are going to be able to download or stream the documentaries, or I believe there's a physical DVD that you can buy as well.
Right. I think there's those 3 options. People can do streaming, they can do downloads, they can get physical DVDs if they want.
Yeah, but you guys are also being kind of generous in what you're giving away for just a $1 backing. If someone backs at $1, what are they going to get from that?
Yeah, the $1 level does have quite a few things in there to try and give it good value. obviously you'll get all the YouTube videos. I mean, you'll get if you want to do nothing and follow along, you can still watch our YouTube videos. But then all the email updates about things going on. There's the quick win that I mentioned earlier that Michelle and I are doing about it's called Understanding Homeschooling. So that'll kind of be going through the process of if you're interested but you're not quite sure how to get started, or you've got reservations, how to get into homeschooling, and our goal there is to make people just be more receptive to it, even if they're not going to homeschool. I think it's important to have more and more people in the country who are like, yeah, homeschooling, cool. You get the Hugelculture micro documentary that Paul Wheaton has, and his permaculture playing cards in a PDF ebook, and then the 21 podcast review of Holzer permaculture that he has as well. So that's, yeah, I think for $1, that's pretty good value.
Yeah, I'll say. But Cliff, thanks so much for joining us today and going over the Kickstarter and the plan for the tour. Where can people go to learn more about you and what you're doing?
So we've got our YouTube channel just recently started, so it's still growing. We're trying to increase the videos that are there. So that's Pondering Paradise. And the reason that we came up with that name, I feel like I'm fortunate that my last name is Ponder. It can apply. You can use it in so many ways. And when we talked earlier about sort of that mind shift of where society says, oh, this is the ideal. This is paradise, right? The work till you're 65 and retire and all that. That's, what we're told is paradise. And I think for us, we're going through this journey of, and we're not at the end of the journey yet. We're still learning. We're still figuring out, but finding out for ourselves and everybody individually, what's paradise for you? And so that's the, Pondering Paradise. It's just trying to figure that out. So that's our YouTube channel, Pondering Paradise.
I'm hoping everyone will go check you out. We'll definitely be supporting you, and we wish you the best.
Thanks, man. Yeah, I hope it's successful, because if it can keep going, then that just means we can get out to your side of the country even sooner and visit you guys again.
Yeah, we'd love that. We'd absolutely love for you guys to make it out our way.
That'd be awesome.
All right, Cliff. Our conversation actually lasted around 45 minutes, and I edited it down a lot just for the sake of this video, but the entire conversation is going to be in one of my upcoming podcasts. I have decided to move forward with doing a podcast. It's not available yet, but I hope to have that out in the next couple weeks. And in that extended length version, you're going to hear us talk about how the farm and sustainability tour is like, and possibly unlike, the Great American Farm Tour by Justin Rhodes. We talked a lot about homeschooling and what their plans are for doing homeschool while they're on the tour. I'm leaving links below in the video description for the Ponder's new YouTube channel as well as their Kickstarter. I'm hoping you guys will go check out that Kickstarter. If you use our link, we actually have an affiliate link for the Kickstarter, so we get a small commission if you actually use that link to back the Kickstarter. I'm not promoting this Kickstarter just because I have an affiliate link and I get a commission if you use it. I will be promoting this regardless because I really like the Ponder family. I believe in what they're doing. The cat up in the rafters is distracting me a little bit. What are you doing up there, Priscilla? So I hope you guys head on over to the Kickstarter, and please consider giving your support to the Ponder family. This is going to be an awesome journey.